Hey y'all, this is Katie. My hot topic for this semester is intermittent fasting, and this is my presentation. So, first, we're going to talk about what is intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting is periods of voluntary abstinence from food and drink. Right now, intermittent fasting, and over the last several years, it has been a hot topic as I've been in school and did the internship and became a dietitian. A lot of the patients that I've seen have gone to intermittent fasting because they want fast weight loss. So I thought this was a good topic to research and see how much research do they really have out there about intermittent fasting and does it really work? So people use intermittent fasting for weight loss, but they also use intermittent fasting for religious practices such as Ramadan. So, okay. So with Ramadan, they use it for like spiritual and physical benefits. There's not too much research on the Ramadan intermittent fasting just because they using it more for religious reasons instead of trying to lose weight. There are three different types of fasting. There's modified fasting regimens, alternate fasting days, and time restricted feedings. These are all considered some type of fasting. So, modified fasting, you're going to have 20 to 25% of your energy needs on a regularly scheduled fasting days. The basis for it's a basis for a popular 5-2 diet, which involves energy restriction for 2 non-consecutive days. So that could be, let's say, a Monday and a Friday. They're not consecutive, but they're 2 days out the week. And then that's where you would fast. So you would fast on a Monday, you could fast on a Friday, and then the rest of the 5 days you would eat. You would have usual eating habits like you usually eat. There weren't as many study samples. They had one study sample that was 10 to 17 adults, all overweight or obese. The problem with this study sample is that it has such a small study sample, 10 to 17 people. I could think of 10 to 17 people. That's going to kind of skew the results. And all the adults were either overweight or obese, which we know that if they're going off of or using BMI, that's not a good indicator of if someone is healthy or not. Those 10 to 17 people could have been athletes. They could have had a lot of, muscle mass. So for them to have the criteria overweight or obese, that's really not a good indicator of if they're healthy or not. They also didn't state if they were men or women. Men tend to lose weight a lot faster than women, so that's also another something that can skew the data. And the duration lasted 8 weeks to 6 months. It doesn't give a good indication. 8 weeks to 6 months is a pretty big difference. That's all the study said. It didn't say an exact number. So that's kind of, going to be skewed already because somebody that's fasting for 6 months is going to lose weight, a lot more weight than somebody that's just intermittent fasting just for 8 weeks. Then we have alternate day fasting. These are fasting days which no energy containing foods or beverages are consumed, alternating with days where food and beverages are consumed ad libitum. The sample size for this study was 8 to 30 participants, and it was normal weight participants. So that's going to skew the data as well. If you're in that normal BMI range, you could be healthy. You could not be healthy, but you really shouldn't be using data on how people are losing weight if they're normal weight, because they're not going to lose as much weight as you would think that they would, because they're already at a certain BMI. And no information on physical activity was provided. That's also not a good sign, just because you need to know where they're running, where they lifting weights, where they're doing some type of physical activity that would also help them either gain muscle mass, or would that, were they running and doing cardio, which will help them lose, a lot of water weight at first. So that's also, a small sample size, and we're already missing if they did physical activity or not. Time restricted feedings are fasting intervals ranging from 12 to 20 hours. So we have 24 hours in a day. So if somebody's fasting for 20 hours, I feel bad for them, because they are probably starving. So in these studies, no physical activity was measured, which we said that's going to cause a problem. It was 25 normal weight men, which it's only men, it wasn't women. So we know that men tend to lose weight faster than women. And they're already at a normal weight or a normal BMI. So that's going to, kind of skew things as well, because they might not lose as much because they're already normal weight. They used crossover studies, and they had no biomarkers assessed. So that means they didn't assess to see if their triglycerides, got better and were lowered. They didn't assess insulin or glucose or any of, those biomarkers were not assessed to see if intermittent fasting helps with those biomarkers. Okay. I took a picture of the table, and then under types of participants, I circled a lot of the participants in these studies were non-obese adults. They were healthy non-obese, or, just regular healthy adults. I think that's going to skew the data, because they're already healthy. They might not have a lot of weight that they need to lose already. And then if you look under sample size, I also circled the participants. Some of them were just female, some of them were just men. And then in one study, they only had 10 participants, 8 females and 2 men. So that's already, kind of skewed already. The journal article did talk about modifiable lifestyle behaviors such as energy intake, sleep, and energy expenditure. These 3 lifestyle factors are modifiable and more manageable. Me being a dietitian, my opinion is I do agree with this. I can tell for myself when I'm either not eating as much, if something's going on in my life and I'm not sleeping well at night, my food's not, digesting or anything like that, I tend to, hold a little bit more water weight, or tend to, gain a couple more pounds. But when I'm eating good, I'm eating healthy, I'm sleeping good, I'm eating good foods that'll, digest and, not just making me feel run down and bloated, I tend to be in a better range with my weight and not have as much water weight or bloat. So I definitely do agree that there are lifestyle factors that we can work on, and that these 3 are modifiable and manageable for us to maintain a better healthy lifestyle weight without having to starve ourselves and do intermittent fasting, which we're starting to see is not, there's not many studies. So in conclusion, we need more accurate and in-depth studies needed to be done to better represent the data shown to see if intermittent fasting really works. In my opinion, I feel like I'm not a fan of intermittent fasting. For some people, it might work for them, but it's not a long-term goal. To me, as soon as somebody starts eating a regular diet again, they're going to put back on that weight that they lost. But like we said, we need more accurate and in-depth studies to show if participants are going to put that weight back on. Is it something that could last a long time, or is this just an acute, fast way to hurry up and lose a couple pounds? I had 2 references, but for this video, I really used one of the references. The other reference was on how intermittent fasting helps with cardiovascular disorders and the biomarkers for, cardiac disease and stuff. But this is my reference that I used for this presentation. And thank you, and y'all have a good day.